What is going on, everyone? So today I'm sitting inside of the Jaguar I-Pace, or Jaguar I-Pace, however you want to pronounce it. I'm in America, so I believe we say Jaguar here. But either way, this is their very first EV, and I think they did an excellent job considering it's their very first one. Now, obviously there are areas for improvement, but this is going to be a full in-depth review. So if you've never seen the I-Pace, this is going to be a thorough walk around of the exterior, interior. I'm going to take it for a drive, and then stay tuned because I'm coming out with a video after this where I'm doing a full range test. We're going to run this battery until it's absolutely empty. But in this video, we're just going to have a little bit of fun, maybe take it off-roading because this does have an off-road height setting, and we're just going to see what this is like in terms of an everyday vehicle. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, so let's go ahead and check out the 2020 Jaguar I-Pace. Now this one is the EV400 with the HSE package, and it is going to be all-wheel drive as standard. You have two motors, one in the front, one in the rear. And this one, price-wise, is going to be pretty expensive. So this is meant to compete with the Tesla Model X. This is meant to compete with the Audi e-tron, and it does a good job. And in my personal opinion, I think this falls right in the middle between the Model X and between the Audi e-tron. Now, in terms of color, this blue color looks really cool. I know in the sunlight it has this really nice pearlescent effect to it, and it just looks good. I personally like the styling. Now, the styling is very controversial, and you either hate it or you love it. If you've never seen the I-Pace, it has a very short front nose. It's kind of like a stubby front end. Because you do not have an engine, you can mess around with the design and styling a little bit more than you could on a traditional ICE or internal combustion engine vehicle. And one cool thing is that the grille right here is going to fold back, and there's going to be an area for air to flow up into the grille, up into the hood, and that's going to obviously flow right over the windshield and then go towards that back wing, which we'll get to in just a bit. Then coming over here to the side, you do have functional aero located right here, LED fog lights, LED daytime running lights, and you have full LED lights on here. I mean, it looks great at night. Very bright, very vivid, and it has a really high-end look to it, which looks awesome. All right, so as we come down to the wheels, believe it or not, these are 20-inch wheels. Though these look smaller because they are the smaller option, they're still 20 inches, which is big, which is crazy that it looks so small in this car because these wheel arches are so large to be able to fit the maximum size wheel that these definitely look small in comparison. But these are wrapped in 245/50 tires. They're Goodyear Eagle Sport tires, and it is nice to have a little bit of a thicker tire versus a low profile tire. Definitely helps it to ride a little bit better. And obviously you are going to have regenerative braking, things like that on this vehicle. Now coming back here to the side, you have an HSE badge, Jaguar badge located right there. You do have your charging port hidden right behind there, and you can obviously use the CCS combo to fast charge this guy as well. The handles are going to go in and out depending on if the car is locked or unlocked, and it's nice and flushed with the vehicle when it is locked, so it has this really nice sleek look and definitely helps with aerodynamics. Now as we move back, you guys can see the profile of this is interesting. It's like half car, half SUV, so a lot of people don't really know what to think of it. It just looks different, and that's what a lot of people notice. So that's either a good thing or a bad thing depending on who you are. Now as we move back to the rear quarter panel, one thing I want to talk about is the fact that the rear is almost completely flat. So you guys can see that it's like this dramatic cutoff right there. And because of the way this wing is shaped, the air is supposed to flow through here, and it's supposed to push any water off with the air because of the aerodynamics. Now, I haven't been able to test that, but that is why you don't have a wiper here in the back. Now, as we come back, I love how the taillights wrap around the back right here. You have full LED lights, so the entire thing is just gonna look really, really good at night. Just has a really good look. Even your reverse light is full LED, which is awesome. Now, as we move further to the back, You have all of your badges, Jaguar right in the middle, I-Pace to the left, EV400 all-wheel drive over to the right. A pretty aggressive diffuser down here, so hopefully you guys can get a better look at this. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and check out the inside of the I-Pace. Now, this is the oyster-colored interior. So a few interior options. You can get this, you can get black, you can get a cloth option, and then they have a red option as well. Now, this one is fully loaded, but not fully loaded, if you guys know what I mean. This is the highest level trim, but this doesn't have the highest amount of options. So as is, you guys saw this one is in like the mid $80,000 range. Fully ticked out, this is closer to 100 grand, which is a lot of money, and you are missing a lot of good options on this despite it being in the $80,000 range. But let's go ahead and see what we have here. Soft touch leather all right here, so this entire area is soft touch. It looks really nice. I love the grain to it. You can option this to be carbon fiber. Right now this is just a gloss black, and the funny part is that you can even see that it has orange peel in this gloss black, which I thought was hilarious. But full leather all right here, full leather, all of your window controls, door window locks, mirror controls, hit both of these simultaneously to fold in your mirrors. Speaker right down here, you're going to have a little bit of storage space located here. 3 memory seat settings, Meridian sound system, door handle, door locks, Jaguar kick plate, Jaguar branded floor mats. These are an option right here. Seating controls located here. The leather is very soft. It feels awesome. Perforations located here in the middle. That's going to run all along the middle of the seat. And then your Jaguar emblem embossed at the top of the seat right there. Now as we come over here to the side, you're going to have your electronic parking brake, front trunk release, and rear trunk release, as well as your interior illumination. I love the detail here, all just authentic aluminum, more of that gloss black located there. You have this interesting like soft material, so it's different here than it is here. This is hard touch, this is soft, but it's a different like texture, which is kind of interesting. But let's go ahead and hop in and we'll check out the rest of the car. Okay, so shutting the door on the I-Pace. Very nice, solid shut. And here's a wider look at the interior. I love the interior of this. I think design-wise, it looks cool. I love the just waterfall of screens here in the middle. And it's a really good, beautiful, elegant looking cabin. Now to start, your start-stop button is located here, foot in the brake, and you just hit that to start. Simple as that. Obviously no noises except for the dings to let you know that the car has started. Now once everything is started up, the steering wheel is one of the most impressive just because the material choices are very high end. So this is all real aluminum here. You have this gloss black here, some stitching located there. The leather quality is incredible. Nice grip extensions here up top. You're going to have more aluminum here. I love these illuminated buttons, so when the car's off you cannot see them, and then when the car's on you guys can see it's illuminated right here. And even this will change to a red and a green whenever you are on a call to show your hang up and answer, which is pretty nice. Your favorites button, scroll through your menus, volume commands over here to the right, all of your cruise control settings, as well as a heated steering wheel, which is an option on here. And then you do have your lane keep, which I will talk about whenever we do the range video. So save that for the next video because that will have a lot more in terms of long distance driving. And over here you have automatic wipers, even the stocks, real aluminum, cold to the touch. Then over here to the left, you have your front and rear fog lights. You're going to have automatic lights on here as well. And you hit this end button to switch through your information located right there. Very simple. Now you do have different screen setups. I love this map view, which is very, very cool. It has a very minimalistic feel, and obviously the map is the main feature right here. But I can scroll through using the buttons to my left, go to display layout, and I can do a 2-dial setup, which is this right here. So there's how that looks. And if I hit it again, and then I go right back down here, I can do a 1-dial setup, which looks better in my opinion. And then that's what that looks like. So you can switch between the few. My only complaint is that the dial itself, whenever it's moving between charge and power, it feels like it's lagging. Everything in here feels like it lags just a half a second, and you notice it, but it's frustrating because it's such a short lag, and that's probably more frustrating than full-on like 1 to 2 second lag, just because you think it's going to be quick, but then it's not, but then it does what it needs to do. It's really frustrating. But either way, the system itself looks great. The colors are vivid. It has all the information you need to see. So in terms of like the look and feel of it, I like it. It is awesome. I just wish they made this a lot faster and a lot more responsive. And I'll get more into that in just a second. Now coming up, you do not have a head-up display, though you can get that as an option. This one just does not have that option. And then moving along, you have a speaker right up there for your Meridian sound system. You guys can see that change in texture here. You have this like smooth leather located here, and then you have that interesting textured like plastic almost right here. More gloss black located here with more of that beautiful aluminum texture running right there. Now as we come to the middle, here's where I really want to talk about the screen. So for example, let me just click settings. Like, it's unacceptable to take that long for it to pop up. Let me do it again. Like, it's every time. And so sometimes when you're driving and you look, so let's say if I'm driving right now, I look right here, reach to hit what I need to hit. Sometimes if you don't hit it correctly, you really have to focus, and then you're not sure if you actually hit the button because it takes a little bit. And then just swiping left and right, it's just a little delayed. Do you see what I'm talking about? It's obviously not iPhone fast. Tesla is definitely going to be like iPhone quick. Even Audi's e-tron is a lot more responsive. So that's the biggest fault with this entire setup. If everything was much faster, I think it would be a lot better. Now, this isn't a massive complaint, but when you do live with it for a week, it sort of gets on your nerves, especially when you have reviewed the competition and you know that the competition offers a much more responsive setup. Once again, there's nothing wrong with this. I just wish it was faster. But you have Apple CarPlay, and you're going to have a nice setup on here, so that's very easy to use. And then as we come back down here, once again, scrolling down here, you guys can see it just has a little bit of that lag right there, just a tiny bit. Even with this, if I push that, it just takes a bit. So it's almost like it's, skipping. It's not very fluid. And, I think in an $80,000 car, $100,000 if you spec it out all the way, I just don't think it's acceptable. That's just my personal opinion. You guys can agree or disagree. But either way, that's just my thoughts right there. Push button shifter, drive, neutral, reverse, park. If you put it into reverse, you do have a very high resolution camera, extremely high res. But believe it or not, I have had lag in this during my time with this. So I was backing up one time, and it like lagged as I was backing up, and then all of a sudden the car went from being pretty far away to just right there, and it kind of skipped. So that freaked me out because that caused me to almost back into a vehicle. So that was kind of scary right there. But you also have automatic parking, so this will park for you, and you do have guidance lines which do turn with the steering wheel right here. Area to put your phone right here, though you don't have a wireless charging pad. You don't even have that as an option in here. You have another USB located here off to the side, if you guys can see that. Obviously dual zone climate control, heated seats, cooled seats. You're going to have your different drive modes here. Hill descent, traction, you can raise and lower the car here. So you guys can see an outside view of the car raising and lowering. This is real time. So it does take a while going up, but obviously whenever you go down, it just drops right down. And it is nice because you have an off-road setting that you can lift it up to. And that's really nice. Now moving backwards, you have a little extra space here. I've got an energy drink right in here. And it holds your drink pretty securely in place. I've got my phone in there as well. Now you lift the armrest, which is very soft, by the way. You guys can already see there's a little bit of stains coming right here. So that's the bad part about having white leather. Lift that up. You have two USBs, a micro SIM, and then you're going to have a 12 volt located right here. Deep storage space located in there as well, like very, very deep storage space, so that's a huge plus. Lockable glove box, you can option to get this cooled, which doesn't have that option, but it is lined in felt, so you won't hear everything rattling around. Coming up, you have an auto dimming mirror, frameless design, so it looks really nice, and then your home link located under here. Touch sensitive LED interior illumination, sunglass holder, with a little receipt in there, and you've got this big, massive, beautiful panoramic roof, which looks stunning. Unfortunately, it does not open, but it still looks really good either way. And this one did come with an optional shade, but the shade you have to kind of clip it into place, and it's a little bit more of a hassle to use. I personally would just leave it off because it's so well tinted that you don't feel a raise in temperature with that off. Mirror right there, and this light is the brightest thing ever. At night it is like stadium lighting. It basically blinds you, but it's really cool because you can see yourself in a very, very good light if you are trying to do whatever you need to do with the vanity mirror. But it's pretty much going to be it for the front area. Let's go ahead and check out the back seat. All right, guys, so hopping into the back of the I-Pace. Now, usually you would see me back here. Unfortunately, my wife is out of commission. She had an allergic reaction, and she's not able to help me film today. So this is going to be full POV in this entire video. So I apologize if you are not a fan of this format, but either way, let's go ahead and check out the back. Pretty much the same as the front in terms of material quality. You have this little door sill right here, and I mean, the seating space is pretty good. You have these optional, like a coat hanger right here, and you have another optional little hook over there to hang like dry cleaning or something like that on. But let me go ahead and hop in. This is memory set to my seating position. As you guys can see, got a good amount of room here, like maybe 2.5 inches or so. Mat pockets, my feet can slide in underneath, no issue at all. Heated seats back here. You can option for 4-zone climate control, but that was not optioned on here. You're going to have a 12 volt located right down here. Then off to the side, you're going to have 2 USBs over here. Now, here's a good look at this panoramic roof from the back. Just absolutely beautiful. LED lights back here. Here's a closer look at those little optional hooks here. You're going to have vents located here off to the side, shutting the door. Obviously, nice and quiet, keeps everything, all the noise at least, out. And yeah, let's go ahead and check out this cup holder area. The cup holders are very shallow, so there's that. Now lifting up this area, there we go. Shallow storage space here, plasticky, so you're probably gonna hear everything rattling around. This thing is like super flimsy. Like, what is this? And that's pretty much gonna be it for the back. Let's go ahead and check out the trunk space. Okay, so moving to the trunk area, so obviously you guys can see the trunk is open right here. Now coming back here, you do have once again the optional floor mats, and the space is pretty good. You guys can see the cubic feet here on the screen. You can obviously fold the seats down to get more space, as well as remove this cargo cover right here. You're gonna have a 12 volt located back here. Hooks right here if you wanna put groceries or anything like that. And then if you lift up the mat, you guys can see this little handle here. You lift that up and you do have a little bit of extra space, but just a little bit. But yeah, that was very quick. Pretty much it for the back. Let's go ahead and see what's under the front hood. All right, so coming under the front trunk or frunk of the I-Pace, you do have a little bit of storage area. Now you guys can see I have the charging cable right in here. The only other thing under here is an area for your windshield washer fluid. I mean, and that's pretty much going to be it. The only negative is that you do have these little like stairs here inside, and that does affect the space. If it were just a deep oval shaped area, it would be more useful, but because you have those little stairs there, it affects your space. I'm not exactly sure what the reasoning for having that there. I mean, obviously it's mechanical bits that required that to be there. Unfortunately, it just cuts into your space. Now, up here you can see the little vent right there, so you can see the functionality with the vent, which is a pretty nice little detail. And yeah, here's the specs if you guys want to know the exact specs of this little area. But that's pretty much going to be it for the interior and exterior. Let's go ahead and take us for a drive. What is going on, everyone? So, driving the Jaguar I-Pace. Now, I do want to reiterate that if you want to know range, I'm making a separate range test video where I'm going to just thoroughly explore how far this can go on a charge. I won't be doing it in this video just because it'll make it very, very long. However, I'm just going to talk more about how this is like to drive as a regular car. Now, as an EV, we know a few things. We know range is what most people care about. And then we also know that they have instant acceleration. So we already know this. And that's what most people focus on whenever they review this. So this time I'm going to focus on how does this drive as a normal car. So let's go ahead and start with ride quality. Now, lights yellow. Ooh, I can just blow through no issue. That's the best part, honestly, about having an electric car. You can just accelerate through those lights and it's great. So, like I was saying, ride quality. It's very interesting to me because you can feel that this is a heavy machine. You can just feel it. It handles the weight incredibly well, but what happens is, like right now, just cruising, it's smooth, it's soft, it's comfortable. Let me actually switch it into, okay, this is comfort mode. So comfort mode is fine, but what happens is every time you hit a bump, whether it's a speed bump, whether it's any kind of just decently good bump, it like jars you. I don't know what it is, and it's so weird because it only feels like that when you hit a bump. And you wouldn't think it would feel that way because right now it feels comfortable, it's smooth, it's floaty. But the moment you hit a bump, it's just kind of, you're like bouncing all over the place, it feels like. Not really sure what that is coming from. I'm not sure what is to blame for that. I don't know if maybe it's because a lot of that weight is at the bottom and maybe the suspension doesn't have enough time to like counteract that. I'm not really sure what it is, guys, but that's honestly my feedback in terms of this car. And my wife noticed it too. It's like, you know, going through speed bumps to get into our apartment complex, it's like, man, why does this feel so bumpy? And I'll go slow over those speed bumps. So anyways, that's a complaint right there. It's not anything that, like, I guess ruins the car, especially if you don't have to go over speed bumps or if you live in an area that has great paved roads like this. It shouldn't be an issue. Now let's go ahead and talk about ergonomics. So everything's very easy to reach. I like the steering wheel. I love these chunky grips up top. The visibility is fantastic. You've got big windows here, big windscreen. The visibility out of the back is not great. You have this small window to look through. Mirrors are great. You have blind spot. Let's go ahead and talk about this power. So in comfort mode, it's fine. So if I get into it, I mean, you have your instant power. It's great. This will feel like sport mode for most people. Now, if I go into eco mode, it does cut my acceleration response. So I do have to go at least halfway on the throttle or accelerator to get the same amount of push that I would barely dipping into comfort. And obviously that's to save energy. That way you're not using a ton of energy from your pedal. And if I floor it, it'll still give you that push in your seat feeling. So it's really at the top of the pedal. It's taking away that initial response. Once you go into the pedal, you're pretty much the same as comfort. Now, once we throw it into dynamic, your suspension does harden up a bit. Steering gets a little bit tighter, and then obviously acceleration response is, good gosh, super instant. So that's always great, and it feels really good. I'm not gonna lie, this car hits way harder. Like with any electric car, it always hits harder when you're driving and you just lay into it. From a stop, this isn't super impressive. It's fast, but you really feel it whenever you're just cruising and you lay into it. So let me give you guys some perspective. So we can see these vehicles to my right, and blew past all of them at a pretty alarming speed very quickly. And when people see this thing just lurch forward, like, they flip out. They like speed up to see what the heck was that. And they don't know what to say. I had a guy roll down his window at a stoplight and he's like, what the heck is that thing? And it was really funny. So yeah, it's a great driving vehicle. Aside from the random unsettling suspension whenever you hit like hard bumps, it's good to drive. And as a matter of fact, it's also pretty impressive off-roading. So yeah, I took it off-roading because it has an off-road suspension setting where you can raise it, and it did really well because of the super short front and rear overhangs. It does great. The biggest worry obviously is the breakover angle. You don't want to hit that battery. I was very, 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 very close, but I did not hit the battery, so that's great. And I think putting some, bigger tires would definitely make this a decent off-roader, but let's face it, no one's ever gonna do that. As is though, this can get you most places if you wanna take this camping, if you wanna do adventure style things. Now, you can't go overlanding or anything with this, but you can go and traverse some decently rough terrain, and this will do surprisingly well. I even took it through a little bit of water, and it does great. So I'm really excited to see the future of cars like this. I'm excited to see maybe Land Rover implement an electric off-roader. That would be really cool to see. Well, everyone, that's going to wrap up my review for the Jaguar I-Pace. Now, I think this fits perfectly in the middle between the Model X and the e-tron. It's not as rock solid, not as isolated from the outside world as the e-tron is, and it's not going to be as sporty or as technologically advanced as the Model X. It's also not going to be as flashy with the cool winged doors, but I think that this offers that signature luxury that Jaguar is known for. It's very well built. I think the infotainment system is good. It could be much faster, and I think they should change this middle screen layout to where the areas aren't as small, because mixed with the not so good feedback from the system and small touch points, it just doesn't make for a good user experience, especially whenever you're driving this thing. The speed is good. It's got great performance. If you don't option the dynamic package like this one did not have, it does make for kind of a floaty, all over the place sort of ride. And whenever you're hitting those hard bumps, it's not a good feeling. So once again, it's not perfect. It's still their first EV, but I think overall it's a good buy. If you absolutely just don't want the Tesla, if you just think it's not your style in terms of luxury, or if you're someone that's used to this style of luxury and you want to experience the more exciting end of EVs, I would highly suggest this over the e-tron. But if you want a more quiet, comfortable, you just are really okay with taking your time getting places, maybe the e-tron is more for you. And then obviously, if you love technology, love fast performance, I mean, the Model X is going to be the way to go in terms of electric SUVs. But let me know what you guys think of the I-Pace. Would you get this over an X or an e-tron? Which would you pick out of the three? And if you guys are new to the channel, subscribe and hit the bell, because next up I'm going to do a full range test and we're going to run this battery until it's just completely dead. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys when that video comes out. Y'all take care. Bye.